Hey everybody, Beth here with a burning question for my Afghan viewers and followers. One thing I've noticed in my own writing and through the podcast is that there are a lot of Afghans with very, very strong beliefs about who should be in charge of efforts to either push the Taliban out of Afghanistan or present a viable, democratic, alternatively chosen government of Afghanistan, right? There are these almost like government in exile things forming in the diaspora, and then we have all these different resistance groups run by different individuals. And so each of them has just a very charismatic leader who pulls a lot of support, but they also pull a lot of anger from people who don't support that group, right? It's just like there are factions. And one thing that I have seen is how can you present a front against the Taliban that's united if Afghan leaders can't come together and pull all of the Afghans who don't want the Taliban in power together for the purpose of getting a democratic Afghanistan back, bringing peace back to the country, bringing a country back that allows women to exist and experience life fully. So, and it's always intrigued me. And I see it, the U.S. has that to some extent too. We just watched a very contentious presidential election cycle, right? So I don't want to pretend that there isn't that same issue here, but I just see it so differently as an outsider. This isn't my fight. Who will be the next to take over Afghanistan isn't for me to decide. It is for the Afghan people to decide. So what I would love is, if you have a dog in this fight, if you feel like someone is the best path forward, I want to know why you feel that that person is more skilled than another. And I want to understand if you would support alternative leaders if it meant that there could be a path to democracy and peace in Afghanistan. So please, so far, the only thing I see is just backbiting on Twitter of, one person naming one leader and then somebody else coming in and saying they're terrible. And that's just not a good way to form an opinion. So I want to know from you guys, who is it? Who is the person that you support? Why? And would you throw in your hat with somebody else if it meant that the Taliban were no longer in power?